a short video to help you prepare for your revision, the end of unit revision, and some past paper questions for your assessment to see your understanding. As you all know by now, you have been given, right in front of you here, you see some pages from the textbook from our school, and this is what you've been mainly using so you can study each topic and answer the questions, the summary questions at the end. I will show you a few more resources online to help you with your revision, and I will clarify which questions need to be done and how they need to be understood and assessed. Okay. So as you know, very quickly, we'll just summarize what we've been doing already. So we every week there's two chapters. So it's Wednesday and Friday. We've got two lessons with the same titles. We're nearly at the end of this. So we this week and next week we are finishing P3.4 Energy and the Environment and P3.5 the Big Energy Issues. Now, some of you, I think only one or two, have tried the summary questions, which is fine. I don't want you to slow down if you feel like this is easier for your level, so you should challenge yourself no matter what. And keep in touch with me via MS Teams so I can give you feedback. Now, for the majority, I would advise that make sure that you learn the topic using the learning objectives. So if you read or make any questions, okay, and then answer the questions and you come back to the learning objectives here and you're not able to answer what fossil fuels do to your environment, if you're not able to give an example, then you need to look back into the text and find that point. So these learning objectives to the left are very, very important to assess at the end of a lesson in your notes and your questions to assess whether if somebody asks you in the street about the environment and how the energy resources that we're using is actually helping the environment or is actually causing further damage, you should be able to use this evidence from here, this knowledge from here. Now, most of you will be confident with this. Please do contact me via MS Teams if you have any issues with questions. I know some of you might have. I've marked some work where somebody would just answer 2A but not 2B. What I want you to do on that one is I want you to write your best educated guess. And how do I know that I know this is a guess rather than knowledge? You can start the sentence, I think dot dot dot. So you don't have to worry about your answer if it's two, if this is the best you have done and research still don't understand, just say I think is probably ABC. Okay, so I want you to always try the questions and do not leave unanswered questions, because I don't know whether you didn't answer because you didn't know it or because you missed it. So it's better to just write something, and even if it's wrong, because I want to see your thinking around it so I can give you advice and feedback, rather than not answering it, because I won't be able to help you, to direct you, with some clues and hints or further resources into answering that question. Okay? Most of you already know this by now. Okay, so if you have any questions about this resource here, do let me know on MS Teams. Now, another very, very useful resource you can use, either while you're using this one or at the very end. If you want to test your, if you want to revise what you've learned so far, you can go online and the very known by now BBC Bite Size, okay? And then you can type in energy demand. So this is the BBC Bite Size, the standard. They're pretty good because they put daily lessons now. So there's newer versions and they're up from scratch. So as you can scroll down, I would say especially the students who struggle with the definitions of keywords or find it hard to use some keywords, I would say put some more time into reading this. If you're more confident, then it's fair enough. Just skim through very quickly to see if you covered everything. You see there's many keywords here. Many of you might have seen them. I've seen some examples, but you're not quite sure how to use those keywords, or what do they really mean, okay? Or, you think they really mean one thing when they mean more than one thing. So you can click on the word, okay, and then it can take you to the glossary, and you can go to, uh, it's alphabetically made. You can go to the glossary, and you can see the word there. Okay, and if you can even use Google if you find that some of the words are too specific for you, or you couldn't find them. Please use the internet. Okay, so by the end of this topic, you should be able to be confident to talk about the energy resources, what are positives, what are negatives, what is renewable energy, okay, what is finite energy, and what can you say about nuclear fuel, geothermal, hydroelectricity, biofuel, wind power, tidal, water waves, or how you use the sun and solar energy? Is a solar panel the same with a solar cell? So things like that. So, and then how can we use those? A lot of us are using those types of energy in our daily lives, but we're not. Um, we haven't really thought, really in detail, where does all electricity come from, and how in the future your generation will be replacing the finite fossil fuels that they're going to run out anyway. So this is why there's been a constant conversation about replacing fossil fuels, because not only we have climate change and global warming, but we have irreparable damage to human health and the environment. So hopefully going through this, and I would advise you not to really run it very quickly, but just take your time, 5-10 minutes, take your time, and then stop where you need to stop and read over one sentence again. If it doesn't make sense, read over or highlight it. So for the people who liked visuals, they understand bit visuals more, you can see that from this pie chart, and that could be in an exam. You might have a pie chart with a missing percentage, and here's you will challenge your transferable skills on maths. You should be able to figure out what are the percentages, the total percentages, and what is the missing one. Okay, so here we can see fossil fuels are 86%. So if you add up this area, it's 86%, and therefore out of 100%, you should be able to know what is the other percentage, which is 14%, which is renewable. As you can see from this pie chart, renewable energy is very little, even with our modern technology. So this is something in the future that will have to increase further and further and further, and those finite types of energy will have to decrease. Whether we like it or not, they will, because they will run out sooner or later. Okay, things like infrastructure. If you don't know how to use the word infrastructure, click on it. You can Google it. I want you to be able to research, to advance your research skills, and don't wait for me to always explain it to you, but I will help you on how to go about things, but you need to pick up the skills of researching on your own and be confident to find the information that you need, okay? But do speak to me on MS Teams if any of your search approaches was not as fruitful as you expected, okay? Words like renewable, how would you use it in a sentence, okay? You could have a 6-mark question between non-renewable and renewable sources of energy, and you should develop your logical conclusions with mainly 3 advantages and 3 disadvantages in a comparative way of why renewable energy is better, or why renewable energy at the moment is problematic, and you should be able to support it giving comparative examples, which means you write a sentence where you compare 2 opposites for each example that you choose to mention. Okay, then you need to also think outside the box. When we're talking about renewable energy, it's not just in the UK. or the EU or the USA or, you know, the developed countries. You need to think about how other countries can uh, develop new technology, or whether they will benefit better by having renewable forms instead of non-renewable. Okay, if we have to put poverty into consideration, which solution is more appropriate? And also, depending on the climate of the other countries, what uh, what sorts of renewable types of energy will be more appropriate. You know, if you have a very sunny country, if you have a country that's got a lot of rivers and a lot of lakes, um, or has a long coastal area and they have a lot of tides and waves. So that gives you a hint of what types of energy you can use there. Anyway, I don't want to stay too much on this one. It's more of a advisory. Uh, as you complete your notes, okay, some people may like to make a list of notes or textbook notes. I want you to make your notes personal to you in a way that they make you learn. I don't want you to just transfer information from the internet to your Word document, your digital Word document, or your notebook, you know, if you handwrite them. I want you to do them in a way that you're learning, okay? You get muscle memory from it. Another way, which I quite like, I'm a visual person as well, as many of you are, is to make diagrams, mind maps, spider graphs, or Venn diagrams. So this is like I would call the energy flower, or the energy daisy, or the energy sun. So here, each petal or each section would be a type of energy. I want you to use that in your revision. And next to each petal, each keyword that you put, you don't need to draw it, but the people who are creative, creativity helps them learn more. You can draw, and by all means do share. I quite like some scientific creativity. I want you next to each type of energy to write at least two positives about this form of energy, whether it's renewable or non-renewable. So here, wind power. If you have already revised, you will be able to make this flower diagram, and then you can write next to wind power, this is a renewable type of energy. And then you're going to write two positives. A positive is just harnessing the energy, the kinetic energy. So you have to write the type of energy is kinetic energy from the wind. So it's renewable because we have the winds anyway. And some people might think, oh, what if, you know, how do we have the wind? So in case you do not know, the wind is the movement of air, okay, from one area to the other, and that has to do with the density. And as you know, hotter air will be less dense, will rise, and it will create a gap, what we call a vacuum, or an empty space there, which immediately are going to be replaced by colder, denser air. And there is what we learned in previous years, the convection current. So the air, the wind, is created because of the convection currents. So the reason why you feel the wind when you go out is because the air is moving from a cold area to a warm area. Okay, the movement is happening like that, and the hot area is going to move from a hot area to a colder area. So it will rise, it will go up. Okay, to just put it simpler. So colder area will sink down, warmer area will be less dense and therefore lighter. It will rise up, and this movement makes a circular movement, which is the same for water in the oceans. Okay, will be the same for water as well. This is how we have water currents, ocean currents, and this is how we have wind currents. Okay, just a bit of a parenthesis there. Okay, so you can use this flower. I'm not gonna stay any longer on this one. The video should be short. Hopefully it will be short. And here is to the people who like tables. So if you like tables, you can use this table. Do you know your facts? So I want you to take this test to check your facts. Some of the questions are very easy. You say, I already know. But some of the questions, be careful how quickly you read, because the answers are they're close to each other. So be careful. Now, the good thing about this test is I want you to, you already know this and you already do that, just in case there's any questions there. I want you, once you check your score, if you score less than 8 out of 10, I want you to retake it. Actually, you can take it as many times as you want. That will improve your memory. Now, this test does not test you for your ability to write lengthy answers. So what I want you to do when you finish with that, and it will happen next week, okay, at the end of this unit, is to then go, after you finish all the answers here, then go to the summary questions, which you will have for next week, and I want you to answer them. Ideally, I would like you to type the summary questions in a Word document you uploaded, because I will be able to type down some green feedback. So you will have to do the summary questions, and I will give you the mark scheme as well for this one. So I'm going to show you an example. Type the answers from this topic, and I was able to open the document and just tick the correct answers. As you can see, many of them are correct. And then the answers that needed more detail, I was able to type in green some support, some help on how to help you think about either calculating something or where to go and check it, or even put like a website that you can click on it and then you can see a bit more on that question, so you better answer this. Now at the end you will see my www.nebi feedback and some positive praise, okay, which will then I will use for holistic marking to see how hard you work. I know most of you are hard workers, so it won't be a problem. So please do keep it up. Now if you find this difficult, I would say continue writing on the book and then use your red pen with the mark scheme to go over yourself with the red pen. Unfortunately, I won't be able to write in green, which looks nicer, but I'll be able to write on the comments your feedback. However, once in a while, please do try to use what we call technological IT skills. That will benefit you for your professional career later on, because we, as you can see, we're becoming more digital more than ever in the present moment, in the near future. Okay, please do let me know if you have any more questions. I will stop it here because it looks like the video, don't have the timer in front of me, takes too long. Please stop the video where you need to stop it, freeze it, pause it, or move it fast forward. Okay, bye for now, and keep an eye out for the next video. Okay, bye for now.